All right. Because I haven't formally introduced myself, I am H1 Stanway. In the Navy 11 years now. I am currently stationed over on the Norfolk base on the pre-commissioning unit of the LPD-29, the USS Richard M. McCool. Yes, I'm a dental tech by trade, but I don't let dental define me. I try to know knowledge across the board so that I can be a better corpsman based off of what situation I'm put in. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Bumed instruction 1300.2 Bravo, your suitability screening, medical assignment screening, and EFMP. All right. The biggest one about this instruction is going to be your forms and how to differentiate between each of the forms. Okay, so big things here. The service member, meaning you, and it is written on your orders when you get orders published. You have within 30 days of those orders to submit your suitability screening. Okay? You have 60 days for your FEMA members. Why is that? Well, it might take longer for your FEMA members to get appointments, or they might have to get some sort of care that has to make them eligible to travel with you, right? So if they have some emergent dental needs that they have to treat beforehand, they need to get it done within that 60-day window. So 30 for the service member, 60 for the family. Okay. I know that you guys have all seen these on the test right here. Your suitability screening coordinator is an E6 or above, minimum of 2 years. Your EFMP is an E5 or above, minimum 2 years. Okay? I told you I was going to mention this before. I hope you guys remember responsibilities. If you see anything that's talking about appointed, 9 times out of 10, anything that says appointed in the question is going to be who? Your commanding officer. Okay? It's talking about establishing a program. Who is that usually going to be? The CO, right? Now, if they're implementing a process or an instruction or a policy, who's that going to be? Bumed. All right, the forms. Okay, so this is one of the ones where if you're not paying attention to the wording, it's going to mix you up. Again, I want you to pay attention to what is different on here. Okay, so for the /1, all right, hold on, we'll go back to the /1. For the /2, do you see the word checklist? Checklist is not mentioned on any of those other forms. So I only know if I see the word checklist on the test, I'm going to be talking about the 1300/2. Okay? The word that stands out on the 3 that's not on any of the other ones is the word assignment. Right? So if I see the word assignment on the test, that's going to key me in to know that they're talking about the 1300/3. All right? So checklist for 2, assignment for 3, and then if I see neither one of those words, I know they're going to be talking about the /1, which is your basic medical, dental, educational suitability screening. Okay? Now, I like to mention this because, you know, I said your SF88 and your SF93 are the same forms as your 2807 and 2808. This right here is your same form as your EZ603. And this form is your EZ603 Alpha. I don't think they ask it this way on the test, and they haven't for a while. So just know EZ603 and EZ603 Alpha. See some of y'all still writing, so I'll wait a minute. Are we good to move on? Okay. Now, oh, did I skip a slide? Oh, no, it's right here. Okay. So, the big ones that are going to confuse you, right? Because this is what they always love to do on the test. Okay, so you have your 2792 and your 2792 TAC 1, right? So, this is for family medical summary, right? So everyone's going to fill this out on what is going on with their family, right? Now, if your anybody in your family has to be an EFMP, then you're filling out this 2792 TAC 1 on what kind of care they're going to need. So you have an ADHD child, you have a child that has any kind of learning deficiencies, that has to be annotated on that form so that they know how to speak to your detailer to put you in a situation where you're going to have those services readily available for your EFMP member. Okay? Keyword for the 16. Right? So, overseas assignments. Right? Report of suitability for overseas. So your /1 is for CONUS, /16 is for OCONUS. Right? Now, don't get that mixed up with the word overseas for your 28. What I want you to pay attention to for the 28 is your early return request or deficiency report. I'll wait till everybody's done. Okay. All right. The screening MTF, meaning the transferring command, is completing the NavMed 1300/1 and the /2. What was the /2? The checklist, that is correct. So your screening and your checklist. Okay? So they fill those out, and then your suitability or unsuitability for service members overseas is on what? 16. Okay? Any family member who has had a special medical and or educational need identified during the screening must be referred to the EFME coordinator to initiate enrollment and document it on the DD form 2792 and the 2792 TAC 1. Okay, again, y'all will fill out the 2792 no matter what. That's going to tell you what's going on with your family because you'll see that in your packet. But this 2792 TAC 1 is if you have an actual service member that is going to be in that EFMP program. Now this slide, I know you've seen these questions on the test. Okay? Your transferring command, right? Receives orders, initiates the medical dental education screening at the supporting MTF, right? Your screening coordinator collects all the paperwork and completes the preliminary review. Okay, so your suitability screening coordinator will take your stuff, they'll review it, and then they're going to forward that document to the gaining MTF suitability screening coordinator, right? So they make a recommendation, right? So our suitability screening here, before we put them to another command, would make the recommendation. Keyword recommendation. Okay? Your gaining MTF is making the determination. So say, hey, we can take this individual because we have the healthcare capabilities to support what they and their family need. Right? They determine local healthcare capabilities and respond to that coordinator within 7 days. Okay? So think about it too. Orders are all funded. It is money being sent to send someone somewhere else, right? And they're also a bill that has to be filled. So there's a short time frame that all this information has to be answered. That's why the minute you get orders, you have to do that screening within 30 days, and they only have 7 days to respond, right? Because if you cannot be suitable for those orders, they need to be able to plug in somebody else into that slot and advertise those orders as available again, all right? Okay, see those words I was mentioning? MTFCO makes the recommendation on the NAV PERS 1300/16 Part 2 and forwards to the transferring command. You're transferring CO. So the CO makes this, by the way, right? So your CO makes the determination based on command review and MTF recommendation, right? And they're responsible for the 30-60-day rule, meaning your 30-day for service member, 60-day for family member. Okay, and how long do they have to, does the suitability screening have to respond? 7 days. Any questions about suitability screenings? So, yes and no. I think I've seen it on the test before. So basically it's saying where do they sign off on that form. So if anybody's seen the 300 through this form, so what happens on the first page is a yes-no questionnaire. Where it's asking, hey, do you have all these symptoms? You got going anything on? Your second page is the part where they have the signature spots for your MO, your DO, and I think there might be one other thing on there where they're saying, is this person suitable for this assignment? And they will sign off on that part too. That's where you have to go take that form to dental, and they say, hey, they're a class 1 or 2, and then you have your DO sign there saying, hey, they're good to go to transfer.
Isn't this the overseas thing? The overseas one?
Yeah, but it's still the same way. So they have a part 1 and 2 on the overseas, and a part 1, part 2 on the 1300/1.
So for both of these is 60.
Mm-hmm. So if you've ever seen the screening, they don't fill out page 4, right? So you're trying to take your screening into your orders, and they're like, hey, my stuff's incomplete. No, it's not. The the transferring command fills out those part 1s through 3, and then the transfer command that's going to accept you, we send that off to them, and then they fill out part 4. So we DoD save that form over to them, and then they fill out part 4 saying, hey, we can accept them, send it back, and then that person is good to go for those orders.
Is this one for the medical department or is that
It should be going to the medical department, so it should be going to it should be technically going to the suitability screening coordinator for that command, right? So that's why that says that they're sending the MTF or the suitability screening coordinator from here is communicating with the suitability coordinator from the transferring or the gaining command.
Do you mean gaming on this side?
What do you mean?
Like the second bullet says transferring CO, do you mean like the gating CO? Right? That's the one that is part 4?
Yes. Hold on 1 second. Yes. That should be gaining.
So transfer would be the top one, gaining would be the bottom.
Yeah. Correct.
But isn't
So they labeled it wrong. So your transferring CO would go up there. They make the recommendation, right? Because they can't say, hey, this guy's suitable for orders over here, because they don't know the capabilities and what they got going on in that location.
So the part
But they're the one that's
that
responsible.
signs after the gaining command says that they're good. Part 4 does get signed by your current CO.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Basically agreeing with it.
pull up the
saying
form,
that-
yes, I think part 4 is also the transfer.
Let me look here. I haven't seen
I
this.
don't think it's gaining.
I haven't seen this form in a minute. Let me pull it up here. It's asking for your pen. Do you get your pen over here?
Oh my god, why are you being like this? There we go. Come on, you can do it. Come back. Back to life. There you go.
All right, hold on 1 second, y'all. That call just ended, so I have to get everybody back in here. All right. So, part 1. Part 2, the Navy MTF screener.
Which is you in the position.
Yeah. And then part 3
Dental.
is dental screener. And then this one doesn't even have the part 4. All right, so God damn it. Here, I'll give you your 16 also. Okay, so part 1, questionnaire. Part 2, you have the interviewer, member. Part 3, recommendation of commanding officer OSC of the MTF. Oh, sorry, this is part 2. So, part 2 is by the CO of the MTF here. Following recommendation is based off a review. They're suitable for this assignment.
But this is, so, I mean, oh, never mind.
So, commanding officer's endorsement. Okay, so you have your CMC. So this is what, as she was saying, your CO will fill out part 4 along with your CMC here. Okay, and then the gaining command will fill out.
I think we have a different.
The transferring command filled out part 2 also.
Yes, and part 4 for the this was 1300. 1300/16.
Okay, where's the part that?
CO and CFC sign off and the MTF sign off.
Yes.
It's a different people.
Mm-hmm. Where's the part that the gaining command signs on? That's what I'm looking at.
They don't.
They don't sign at all?
No.
No,
So
it's
we
not
will
this
send
one.
out the query to the gaining command, and once they respond back saying yes or no, then the provider that originally saw them, that sent out the query, will fill that out, saying yes or no.
Okay. So, again, I haven't actually done suitability screenings. I'm just going off of what I read in the instructions. So, thank you for that clarification. So, the form alone is not filled out at all by the transfer command, but it has to be sent to the transfer command for approval, right? So, again, your MTF still needs to know that they make the recommendation, but the CO makes the determination if they are suitable for that screening, right? So that's why once you get a recommendation from medical, it then gets routed through your chain of command, goes all the way to the CMC, and then they pass it off to the CO to sign off for that final determination. Okay, then they will forward that to the transferring suitability screening coordinator, or then they will make that call saying, "Hey, yay or nay, we will take this person." And then when they say yay, then they are good to go on the orders that they have been written for. If there's any issues that arise, then they have to be, say somehow those issues are causing them to go past their report no later than date, then they have to get an order mod, or if they can't fulfill those orders at all, they will cancel those orders and then fill somebody in that can. Does that make sense? Sorry to confuse y'all. So let me go back to that slide so that we're not fully confused. What just happened? All right, so let me go back to the slide here for y'all. Whatever one it is here. All right, so since we just saw that form, the MTF makes the medical recommendation on part 2. Okay? Your CO of the same command is making the determination on the part 4. Right? So that's what I was saying. Like, some people will think it's incomplete and can't submit at all while they're submitting up the chain. They have to have 1 through 3 completed, and then that gets reviewed, and then part 4 signed off by the triad. So that's saying our CO is still responsible for the 30-60-day rule, meaning that they have to get that stuff within the 30 days for the service member and 60 days for the family. Which she could tell you, and I know I've seen before, these suitability screenings are not getting done in time in a lot of places. They're actually getting done after people transfer. From Great Lakes, happened all the damn time. I'm like, why? Because I worked in DRM, DFA suite, so I saw every suitability screening come across our desk, and they were coming in after these members already PCS'd. It doesn't make sense, I know. But it's supposed to be following the 30-60-day rule. Any questions anymore about suitability? Yeah, so what happened is the transferring suitability screening coordinator will DoD state that over to the gaining one. Then that person has 7 days within that response to say, hey, can we take this person? Or nay, we're not going to take this person. Any other questions? So again, to clarify, the transferring command is the only one that fills out this actual form. All right. What's the next one? PHA?